Will the money that's available to Jimmy for transfers be directly linked to player sales?
There's two pools. There's this is what you have, and then everything else is based on player sales. So, which I think is a sensible way to do it, because the easiest thing in the world is to bring a player in. The hardest thing in the world is to get rid of the ones that you want to get moved on. Easy to get ones who are really, really good and everybody wants. Yeah, they sell no problems. But it's the ones who say, well, hasn't really worked out for us, but it's holding something else up from happening. Those are the tough ones.
And is the manager happy with the money that's available to him?
Managers are never happy with the money that's given to them. They always want more. And that's why they tend to be successful people, because they're always pushing the boundaries and they always want more. So it's just about managing that, really. I've yet to meet a manager who thought his transfer kitty was big enough.
Okay. Moving on now to season ticket sales for the new season. Obviously there was changes to the initial structure on the back of fan consultation. Are you happy with season ticket sales today?
I'm actually very pleased with what happened with season tickets. For me, I would expect it somewhere about a 12% dip in season tickets, because the further away you get from the Premier League, the lower your season tickets go until you hit the level, your natural level, which here appears to be around 7,500 as just as a championship club with mid-table. So I would expect it with corporates, with so as a corporate hospitality, and with half season tickets last year, we had just under 10,500. I think it was like 10,450 something, and we're at what are we, just over 9,000 right now. So I'm pleased with that. And if you look at this time, I can appreciate that, when I compare the number to the end of June last season, because that's when it ended, there were 9,200. So, we're just about where we were last year. So I'm thinking, well, if we do that with half season tickets as well, we're going to be almost even with where we were. We might even have a slight increase if we do our jobs right. We do a good job with marketing. We might actually go past the 10,500 mark this year when you look at everything. So, yeah, extremely pleased with the support that the fans have turned around and given the club.
Okay, commercially, are you happy with the progress the club's making?
I think we're making good progress. The deal with Dry World, extremely good deal, probably one of the best deals I've seen. I think the sponsorship deals that our commercial department has driven over the line, in my experience of working in the championship, are at the very top end of what you get in the championship. So everybody works hard to drive the revenue that we need. But let's face it, like I said, the revenue that comes in, it's not about paying dividends to the shareholders. It always goes back into the playing squad, and that's the important thing, is because that's what people are here to see, and that's what the whole thing is about. Cut costs where we can, make sure the manager has as much available for them as possible, so we can keep those players in tip-top condition, get the players in that we want to get in, and make a good go of it.
Like you've said before, supporters don't jump up and down and cheer when they look at a P&L spreadsheet, but they do care about a match day experience. And we've spoken before about the work that goes into the club in terms of the hospitality areas, and a lot of supporters say, what about me, the normal fan, for want of a better wording? What work is being done by the club in regards to improving their match day experience?
I've never seen a manager that is happy with the transfer he gets. He always wants more. And I've never been a normal football fan. Football makes us all abnormal. It makes us cynical. It makes us elated one week. It makes us want to punch a hole in the wall the next week. So when you say normal fan, let's call the average guy coming in who's not getting the hospitality, because I think this game all drives us nuts and makes us extremely elated in equal measure. No, it actually drives us nuts more than it makes us elated. But what it is I think it's when I first started in football, whenever I'd hire anybody, I would say, imagine this: you went to your bank manager and you said, I've got a business plan. It involves 11 guys. I'm going to try to kick a ball in the back of the net, and what we're going to do is we're going to charge people money. But before we take their money, we'll make them queue up outside, and 90% of the time it'll be raining. Then when they get inside, we're not going to give them enough toilet facilities. We're going to serve them food that's really poor, and they're going to come back week after week after week. There's not too many banks that are going to give you money based on that business plan, but I think previously that's how football ran, and it was certainly how it ran when I came in. I think there's been a lot of effort to try and improve what we do as an experience for people coming in. We're limited in what we can do here, but I will try and do things. You know, we talked about a budget to try and do some work here over the summer, where we'll be, you know, looking at some of the key issues, like, you know, in Ellerslie Road, how the toilet facilities are over there. I don't, you know, again, everybody wants to see people winning, and it's funny when you're winning, then, you know, they'll put up with the facilities. You know, the food's great. When you're losing, the food's awful, the facilities are awful. I think we need to address it as right. We need to constantly try and improve. I'm trying to set up a supporters consultation committee meeting, because I've spoken to the caterers. Always get good feedback on the hospitality part of the catering offering, but quite frankly, I always get really bad feedback about the offering out there. And I've relayed that. We're talking about they want to talk about a new contract. I want to talk about better service and better quality. So you know, that's one of the things I want to work on as well. So there are a number of things I think we're trying to do over the summer that people should see a difference in areas of the stadium. I'd love to give the whole place a complete makeover. And if you think the manager would be happy with that, say, by the way, Jimmy, we're going to do the makeover thing. It's just coming out of your budget. I don't think he's going to be very happy. And ultimately, I don't think the fans would be happy either. Yes, improve the experience, but for goodness sake, it's all about winning on the pitch. And it's all about, you know, making sure we get guys who are capable of giving us a performance when we come in, because that's what we spend most of our time doing, watching what goes on in that pitch. We want to make sure we have guys out there that are giving it their all.
Okay, just finally, what are your expectations for the upcoming season?
My expectations, I've been asked this a couple of times, and everybody likes to dig deeper for a more incisive answer, but we want guys, like I said, who, in my last sentence, go out there and give it all. If we get beaten, and we get beaten by a better team, then fine, we get beaten by a better team. But as long as the boys have gone out there and they've given it everything they have, I'm not going to complain about it and say, no, they put in a shift, I'm happy. It's and most people I talk to feel the same way. The one thing I do have to point out, though, is a lot of people I talk to also is they always talk about we're a development club. You know, we should give young players a chance. Well, if you're going to give young players a chance, you need to get behind young players and be supportive of them. So when, you know, I know when Cole Capecque came on, you know, in one of his games, and he got booed a couple of times for a bad pass, and I heard it, and I thought, that kills a player. That's not supportive of a player. That kills a player. You got to get behind the young players. You got to be understanding that they will make mistakes as they develop, and be encouraging, give them that environment they need to grow into the football club, and not take out your frustrations on them. As I say, particularly the young ones. No player ever goes out to have a bad game. Sometimes it just happens, but we need to be supportive of that. So that's it. Get out there, be competitive in every game, make sure we're competing in every game. I would encourage fans, if they've got questions about the business side, saying, why do you do this? How does this work? Write in, let us know what they are. We can go about addressing those and getting that information out there.